My name is Craig Savage from Foley CAT. Here to do training today on your Caterpillar gen set. This is a CAT C32, which is a V12 cylinder engine. It is 1,000 kW and it puts out 480 volts. To go through some of the safety features, basically, so you got an e-stop up on the control panel here, and then I think there's another one somewhere. I just don't know where to put it. So I don't know if it's up in the fire command or something. Sometimes they put it up fire command. Actually, I think I did see it over there a couple weeks ago. There is also in the fire command a annunciator panel, and that panel is going to mimic this panel here, basically pretty much the same panel. Alright, so go over to labeling on here next. So your data tag for this machine is up on the generator panel. It's got all the serial numbers, all the generator information. There is also a serial number tag on the back here. So if you call for service, you're going to need a serial number for one of the two places. As far as the warning labels go, there's warning labels on all the covers and anywhere that you can pretty much get your hands into something you shouldn't, or you're going to burn yourself, and it pretty much tells you what when it's got a pictorial image of what's going to happen to you, death or dismemberment or whatever. Control panel is next on our list here. It's going to be a little difficult on here, but the best we can here. So, I know you can't really see the display from where you're at there, but these guys here, your engine control switch, so normally it's going to be an auto. Right now it's off because they're still out of it now. I understand. There's also issues with the ACS switch, so they end up being it off until they got all this stuff off, which I think it's all done now. If you want to run it locally, just put it in run, which is that green button right there. Push that over, start and run as long as it's in the green. When you want to stop it, you put it in the red stop position until it stops, and then put it back in auto when you're done. And when you're in auto, it's going to clear all the amber lights there because they're for not in auto right now. Way up top here, that's the amber light is a warning light. The button underneath that is the silence button. The next indicator over there is a red one. That's for all shutdowns. It's going to light up red there. Under the button underneath the red indicator is a reset button. So when you push that, you're going to be able to reset the shutdown fault. Keep in mind, you have to get rid of the fault first. So if it was an e-stop, you got to pull the e-stop back out before you hit that. It's also going to want you to have the machine not in auto, but you got to put it in stop. But it will give you an on-screen prompt to put it in stop position before proceeding. After you hit the button, it's going to ask you to hit OK to reset all events. You do that, and then basically it'll do for an attempt to clear it. If everything's good, it'll clear it, and the red light will go off, and then you can put it back into auto. The last button up on the right is a vent log. So if for some reason you had a shutdown or a warning that wasn't listed on your annunciator, you could go into your event log by pushing that button, and it would show you up in there what the cause is. About 90% of them are on the annunciator. However, there's some like senders and stuff like that, when they go bad, there's a diagnostic fault that'll come up that doesn't show you on the panel. So these buttons here, there's two of them. One says AC, you push that, and it's going to give you all your AC readings up there. If you hit the up and down arrow buttons, it's going to like scroll. It's going to let you page through the AC readings to more defined readings, such as line-to-line voltage, kW, kilowatt hours, things like that. The next one is the engine. You hit that, you're going to get all the engine readings. You can also use the up and down arrows to get more detailed information on that. And then the main menu is really nothing you have to go into. It's just programming in there. Alright, as we mentioned, the e-stop button. These are programming ports for us. And And then you got your nuts heater over there, which gives you all your warnings. Anything in red is a shutdown, anything in yellow is a warning, anything green is just an event that happened, like engine running, something to that nature. Not a concern. Alright. As we already mentioned, remote enunciator for the fire command.
Wait, what size is the daytime?
You know, I don't actually know. I don't know it's probably on the front side of the tank. I'll have to crawl under there when I'm done and see what it is. It's it looks pretty big though. I think guess like 1,000 gallons or something. But we'll see. Maybe it's a little bit less than that. Alright. Battery charger. Battery charger right back here on the wall. Basically, it's pretty much automated. It scrolls through everything and it's on the display by itself. You see those are all right. And that's pretty much it. It does have a couple alarms there. And not much more to say about that guy. Alright, let's see. Alright, batteries. And other accessories. So, you have your batteries right here. These are what CAT calls a maintenance-free, maintenance-type battery, which basically means it's a maintenance-free style that can have the water added to it. It's just got a sealed cap on it opposed to the vented caps from years ago. So it keeps a lot more water vapor in there. However, over time they still do lose water vapor because they're constantly being charged. And so basically CAT had to go to a design like that for a genset that's constantly being charged because it loses water vapor. Your jacket water heater is right here. It does have a circulating pump on there, so the line's not going to be anywhere near as hot as it has been in the years past. You can hold your hand on there. It's only about maybe 130 degrees coming out of there. It's always a good idea to, when you're doing weekly inspections or whatever, just to grab that upper line, make sure it's still hot. You get your alternator right up front there, right there. And what else we got? We got a battery kill switch on this side, so battery disconnect. If you had to do some kind of maintenance, you wanted to lock it out, you can turn the key off here, take the key out, and lock it somewhere. These are circuit breakers for various DC items on our engine. They're kind of self-explanatory. You got an alternator starter, auxiliary power, speed and motor devices on here, and then the engine ECM. We got an air filter here, air filter on the other side as well. And then up in the back here, probably gonna be, not really gonna be able to open that panel here though, but up in there, there's a few circuit breakers. So one's for an alternator strip heater, which basically keeps the windings warm all the time, keeps condensation out of there. And then your jacket water heater is also has a double pole breaker that operates out of there. So this is being fed from the building, and it's typically a 208 60 amp feed to it, and then it has two sub breakers inside of our panel there. So if you have a issue with just one device not being hot, that's where I would check first, is up in that panel, make sure something didn't trip. And that's pretty much it on this side. We'll walk around to the other side and check that out. Alright, on this side, you can see your pool and makeup tank up there with a little cycle head. You also have a low coolant level sensor in the tank, so if you did have a low coolant level, it would give you an alarm back on the panel. But you can take a quick glance up there, you know, when you're doing a weekly walk around and see the tank one up there. Your oil dipsticks right here, and then oil fill. This guy right here. It's got the type of oil on there. DEO is basically diesel engine oil, which is 1540. You got a fuel water separator here with a drain in the bottom. You'll notice there's no bowl there. It's only a drain. They tried to simplify the design because they had problems with the bowls leaking on them. I just got rid of the bowl and put a drain on the bottom. Typically, you don't have an issue unless you got fuel or water in your fuel tank in the building, like your main fuel tank. Actually, this doesn't have to be used. Get pump in from outside. Yeah, I think so. I don't remember correct. I guess. What's that? That's,
The fuel will come right from the outside.
that's just a problem for this. Okay. So yeah, I guess you don't really have a main in the building then. It's just getting fuel from outside. And then we got up here is the main fuel filter on the engine and a second prime pump here. If anybody ever needed to prime the fuel system, if you ever ran out of fuel, it was pretty much the only time to leave it go. You will have to prime it with that guy until it gets really hard to push, and then you can go ahead and try and crank it. It may not start the first time, so you got to go through the whole procedure again. Eventually, you'll work all the air out of the system. And then here's the other air filter we're talking about. And it's got a air filter indicator right there. Basically, there's going to be a yellow piece that pulls out of here, and you'll see this plugged up the further it pulls out. We got the breakers, one on either side here. These will shunt trip with any shutdown condition on the machine, and there is aux contacts built into them as well, so you will know when they're open. But it's always a good idea to, if you have a shutdown, make sure you check those breakers. Let's see what else we got here. And so, routine maintenance, I mean, pretty much, they usually have a quarterly maintenance contract recommended. You guys, I don't know if you guys do a walk around weekly or what the deal is, but that's usually also recommended, make sure you don't have any leaks or anything. And then also, you guys have, over on this switch here lineup, you guys have a like a load generator hookup or a load bank hookup over there. It makes it a lot easier. That's actually how we load bank. It makes it a lot easier pulling all the cables out of there. But if you ever needed a rental, you just pull it in, plug it in.
Now, from testing, does anybody know when we do a full load transfer, does that meet 30% of the nameplate?
I don't know that. I don't know if you'll know that until you actually get the whole building on, to be honest.
Right. I think that's what you alluded to earlier, right. We still need to do all that, but we haven't to the exact date. I don't think that has been scheduled yet.
Oh, it's 650. Yeah, I think it's all the black there. Yep. So it's probably about I can tell for you what the burn rate is on it.
That's got to depend on load.
Yeah, the weight off full load usually, but you
When we
can,
did the load test, it was like, I think 500 gallons, and I think the hour was 4 hours.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so when we started running the load bank, we were running at the 100%.
Yeah. And then we had 500 gallons in there, I think.
Yeah, right at the end of our testing, we hit a
Yep.
low fuel level.
what's the buy half tank?
Yes,
Yeah, right.
correct.
So it's gonna be roughly, let's see, about 70 gallons an hour at full load. Half load, it's pretty much a linear scale, like half load's 36, so it's almost like, it's only in the beginning where you lose, because you got like the mass spinning with no output, so you lose a little bit in the beginning, and it kind of like the scale just goes up on a linear curve. So, just to give you a rough idea. So you can probably go 20, I mean, I wouldn't run the tank that well if you were running, but, you consider it 15 to 20 hours. So, anybody got any questions on anything? No? All right. No, so generally, I didn't actually. Typically, they're set up on basically a run schedule, and it's gonna go ahead and run on top of fuel storage. That was a filter head. Yeah, it's got a big filter there. So this thing just circulates the fuel in there, basically polishes it, keeps it clean. If there's any like condensation or water, it's gonna pick it up and it's gonna sit in here where you're gonna get an alarm. You see it probe down here. So it'll tell you basically like on the screen there, like water and filter drain or something like that. And then if your filter plugs, it tells you to change your filter. Yeah, this got like a little PLC in here, so it's gonna have a pretty sophisticated screen on that. Should be pretty easy to figure out. You know, have somebody come in and explain it. So that's about it. Anybody? Yeah, but